This is Kate from Ignorance Was Bliss. You are listening to the Odd Dad Out podcast, and normal is not my specialty either.
Beginning Odd Dad Out podcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Odd Dad Out podcast, where normal is not my specialty. I am your host, Adam Higgins, the Odd Dad Out. You can find me at oddadoutpodcast.com and at Odd Dad Out on all the social medias. And this is a show where I normally ramble and rant and tell you all the shit that's going on in my head, in my life, and all that sort of crazy shit. If you're so interested, I make fun of some weird news shit, and I tell you about some other podcasts that you need to be listening to, because sharing is caring. Because I don't care if it's a trademarked saying or anything. I think that's the Salvation Army. I don't care. But I'm back. And I think that's the most important thing here. I know I've been gone for it's been like a month. Yeah, I think it's been about a month. And yes, I dropped the episode with Paul from the Countdown, which I need to get him back on because I realized I talked way too much for an episode that was supposed to be kind of starring somebody else. Sorry. But all that aside, I'm back. I'm getting the show back going and up and running and back and doing all the things. How many times can I say the show's back? I don't know. But point of that all being, if you were listening before my unscheduled hiatus, I just moved. That's basically it. That was the gist of it, was that we just moved at the beginning, or I guess in the middle of December, we moved into our new home, which over the course of the last several weeks, we moved and we've been unpacking and unpacking and unpacking. And if you are familiar with, again, what we were going through before, we got rid of pretty much all of our major furniture other than our beds. The only major furniture that we moved over to this house were the beds. And so that meant new couch. And I think I talked about it. We got a love sack. It's one of those modular sofas. If you know what this is, you'll understand how amazing this thing is. I will get more into it later, I'm sure. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've talked to you. I can't remember if I told you about my couch yet. Oh my God. But we got the new sofa. We got, desks. I think I mentioned the new house. We've got the 2 bedrooms for the boys, the little boys in one room, the older boys in the other room. And between them is a big common area, which I, up until we moved in, was calling the common room, because even though my wife is the giant Harry Potter nerd, apparently I'm the one who liked that name better. She has dubbed it their study, which, fine, make it sound more fancy and shit, whatever. But she has dubbed it their study. And in that room, that was kind of supposed to be the room with all of their toys and their bookshelves and all this, because they have a ton of books. Because their grandmother, being a 2nd grade teacher, she has a lot of access to a lot of children's books. And every time we go out there, we always end up with more books. And every birthday, holiday, everything, she sends us books, which is good because they all need more reading and stuff like that. Reading is fundamental. I'm just going to keep using stolen catchphrases today. I don't know why. But all that, we also, in that room, put four take 2. Take 2. No, we put 4 ladder desks. If you don't know what a ladder desk is, it is kind of self-explanatory, I guess, but it is a desk, and it's got shelves above it that are kind of just like it's a 2-legged ladder style. So like the bottom platform of it is a desk with a drawer and everything, but it just leans against the wall like a ladder. And because we have tile floors that are not going to support that without sliding out, I bracketed and bolted those bitches to the wall as hard as I could. So I had to build, I should say my wife and I had to build 4 of these desks and mount them to the walls. And 2 bookshelves that also, they're like ladder style, same thing, no desk part. 2 ladder style bookshelves that go between the desks so the boys aren't all crammed together. So all of the boys now have a desk in that room, plus their bookshelves, plus all of their toys and everything are in that room. Plus they now have a TV with a TV like entertainment cabinet that they're going to have the Wii, and I actually went and got them an Amazon Fire Stick for that TV. So they don't need cable. Fuck it. They don't need cable. So I put an Amazon Fire Stick on that TV so they can watch Disney Plus and all that kind of stuff in there. And so that's cool. And I like that. And so they have their TV and they can sit in their study and watch their shows and not annoy the shit out of us when they want to, as provided they've gotten their homework done and shit like that. They can go watch TV and stuff like that in their room. And it's funny because with that now, we don't have the living room TV is hardly on now. It's been really funny since we've been in this house. The living room TV has not been on that much. But the boys have their space and we have our master suite with our giant fucking bathroom. And by the way, not only does the master suite have his and her sinks, the double sink, which is really popular for married couples now. Yeah, we don't have to fight over the sink. The boys' bathroom in the hall, if you can call it a hall, actually has double sinks. So the boys don't really have to fight over the sinks so much, like, oh, they're brushing their teeth or whatever. They can both, like 2 of the boys can be in there. I don't have a line of boys sitting there waiting to brush their teeth or go to the bathroom, which incidentally, house has 3 bathrooms, which is so nice. Which is, and 3 full bathrooms. It's not like a half bath. So there are actually 3 showers. So when the boys are taking showers, almost all of them can be in the shower at once, provided that uses up a lot of hot water at once. So they better, snap to it. As they are taking quicker showers now that the water is at a premium when they're all taking showers at once. But we don't have lines and waiting and suddenly, boys taking showers takes an hour because 4 boys taking showers. So now they can all do it at once and it takes like 15 minutes and it's done. Yay. Okay, it takes a little bit longer because there's 3 bathrooms and 4 boys, but still. Anyway. But all, giant walk-in closets, all the big things, and oh yeah, I am now coming to you live from my own designated office, completely separate from the rest of the bedrooms and just about all of the rest of the house. Woo! I'm not going to put in an applause sound effect because I just never feel like digging them out. On second thought, was that a bit much? Oh well. I have an office, which also means I have a studio, which also means that I can work and I can record and I can edit at hours outside of normal because I'm not going to necessarily be bugging my wife by recording while she's like, I could theoretically be recording or doing interviews or doing things like this on times when she's asleep, maybe, or whatever. I can do that and I can work and I have my own office, which I'll say is not sound treated especially well. It's a big empty office at this point. Okay, it's not empty at this point because the rest of the house has gotten unpacked and assembled. And right now, my office is a fucking mess. A lot of, it's basically a lowest rung priority of the house has been my office. It's been, all right, living room, get the living room put together, get the kitchen and everything organized, get the bedrooms put together, get all that stuff done. And once all that's done, then come to my office, get all of the boxes and all the crap in here unpacked and organized. And there's a lot of stuff that's just kind of gotten thrown in here because we weren't sure what to do with it yet. But, I've got a corner, I got my desk and my studio stuff. My recording equipment, I actually had set up very early. because I have a different desk. This is the desk that I have now is actually a desk that I had for years in the old house in my lack of studio before in the bedroom. And this desk actually lived in the garage for the last 3 or 4 years, but it mostly was just too damn big. Now I've got the space for it. And now I've got my stuff and my computer and I've got so much crap on my desk. And I now have all of my stuff organized into drawers and shit, and all of my like microphones in one drawer and cables in another drawer and mic stands in another drawer, and all the things have a drawer and a place, and all the things, which unfortunately, because I now have so much desk space, means I also have a space on the desk for the cat to get in my way. Yeah. I'm at high risk for the cat just sitting on my keyboard right now, which is he's totally about to do, and I'm gonna swat him, I swear. But yeah, if you hear clacking or clicking or anything like that, it's the cat. He's sitting here whacking the shit out of my keyboard with his tail because he's an asshole, and he's hitting the mic stand because, again, he's an asshole. But this was another, if you're paying attention at the opening of the show, this is another one of those days where I said normally in the opening. And I said normally because even though, I've had a month to build up news stories, and I've had a month to go through, and there's some new podcasts that I'm going to talk about later, and there's some other stuff I'm going to do. This is not going to be a full episode with all the parts. One, because I'm behind schedule. I am. Chances are this is going up late. Granted, I've been gone so long, I could change my release day, but I don't know. There's something about Wednesday. I just like it. I don't know. Fuck it. I may end up start doing stuff. I don't know. With the whole office thing and the freedom it allows, I may actually be able to change things up. I don't know. I'm going to see what I'm going to do, really. But this is going up late because, well, timing and stuff and life, and still got shit to do and still got stuff to put up and unpack and crap going on. But I kind of want to give, because I really did before New Year's. I really did, because my office was set up and I could have been recording, but we just had so much shit to do. I wanted to do like a 2019 wrap up like everybody else did, and what to expect in 2020. And I don't know if I want to say, this is what to expect from the show in 2020, but kind of what I want to try and do, what I want to try and accomplish, and things I want to start doing more of. Like, I really want to be more consistent with episodes, and I think it'll going to go to, I think I might start recording earlier in the week and just doing, and I've talked about having done that before, where I would record on like Monday when I don't have work, and I may start, because I've got the designated space, and I can record while my wife is asleep on Monday nights now, or on Sunday nights even, but I can record earlier without interfering with anything. I can work on the show in my own little designated space. So I really want to get more consistent with the show. More work on the website would make, fill out the show notes and things like that better, and stuff like that. I actually want to start writing more, and I want to start writing more outside of show notes. Because, and I've said before, and I think there's all of maybe 3 actual just standalone blog posts on the website, but I want to do more of that. If nothing else, like maybe just 1 monthly something, or just get shit out of my head and stuff that, I don't know. I want to start writing more. And I say this, and I've said this several times, and it's really a case of sitting down and doing it, because, well, if I can sit down and write, I could probably be doing something productive business wise. And that's kind of another thing, is that I want to work more with editing clients, and I want to try and do more for that. At the same time, I really want to more actively pursue voice acting and voice training and audiobook narration and things like that. And that's another big part of my office is, again, I have a full bathroom in here. So I still have a full closet in here. And it's not like one of those like double sliding door closets like the boys have that in their bedrooms. But I actually have like a closet with a door that I can pad, which I thoroughly intend to do, because I don't know if I mentioned before, where I'd gotten the big moving blankets, and I kind of had, when I would do voice work for like 2000 DC or anything else, I actually would build a booth out of moving blankets and clothing racks and would build this booth for me to record in. Which, yeah, I don't pad the walls in the office here, and I haven't yet. And if I were to do it, it'd probably be much further down the line, and I'd probably do something more attractive than your ordinary moving. Like, I wouldn't hang moving blankets in here. I wouldn't put, like, you ever see the foam grid looking sound panels? I wouldn't put those. I would probably end up doing something like, if you ever see the YouTube videos of people that make sound panels with insulation and build a frame and all this stuff, and they're the big rectangular ones, I'd probably do something more like that because, well, they look nicer, and you can hang those on the wall, and you can use those panels, and you can put whatever the hell material on them, and you can put something really nice on them. And so I could probably put some nice fabric on those and make really attractive sound panels that my wife wouldn't bitch at me for having put up. She'd probably complain about the cost because, I mean, come on, you're building a thing. But there's a lot more important things to do than soundproof and sound treat my office. In the meantime, I have a closet, and I have moving blankets that I can hang in said closet to sound treat the closet. So I kind of want to go with that, and the smaller space would be better for that anyway. But that's something I want to do. I want to get more into that sort of stuff. I want to do more writing on the website. I thoroughly intend, and I mean this, thoroughly mean this. I do want to do more interviews, and I do want to have more guest episodes. And whether they are just guests come on and talk like I've been doing, or maybe have a guest come on and we kind of go through the segments of the show and talk about new shit. And maybe I realized during the National Podcast Post month, and as that whole thing kind of devolved into, I gave up the format that I was going with, and I realized the format helped. Even if I went with really long conversations because of it, the format helped, and just having some questions to work with helped. And so I'm really going to kind of develop just basic guidelines. Here's what I'm going to go through for when I have guests on, especially for the longer form guests, because I realized that if I don't have questions to ask them to get them talking, I will just run over my guests. Because I can talk, I don't need a guest to be here for me to just go on and 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 on. And if you listen to me for any amount of time, you know that. I can talk at great length about nothing without assistance. So, yeah. So I'm going to kind of develop, and it's probably just going to be a few basic things, like, you know, because so many of the guests that I have right now are all podcasters and podcaster friends. So a lot of it's going to be, tell me about your show, about, you know, who are you and who is your daddy and what does he do, and all that. But I still want to go, and I still want to have a podcast recommendation. And I think that's going to be my big end question. My big end question through all of National Podcast Post month was, what is the one podcast you would recommend to a new listener? Or your one recommendation? What is your one recommendation? Because for me, that is such an important part of the show. And so I do want to maintain that. That's really important to me, that those recommendations are still coming. And I've said it before, my personal recommendations are starting to run thin. Like, yeah, there's some new stuff that I've been listening to and I've been turned on to. And if you have a recommendation, please send it to me. If there's something you think that I should be checking out, please send it to me, because I want to check out more shows. I want to be able to review and check and recommend more shows to you. And if you tell me about something, I'm totally going to name drop you from, hey, this is the person who turned it on to me. Was that right? Whoever turned me on to whatever show. And I've got a couple actually coming up like that. But that's just something I don't want to let go of. It's really important to me as an element of the show. So yeah, there's that. And like I said, I want to start doing more writing, and I'm considering doing a newsletter thing. I don't know. It's something that I've kind of I've seen done, and it's one of those, well, what would I put in a newsletter? And maybe I just do like a monthly newsletter or a monthly blog post of just a recap of my recommendations and my like top news stories and stuff like that. And sidebar, if you hear any whispering or scratching kind of sounds coming through, one of the perks of my new office and my new desk is there's these little side panels that pull out of my desk. I don't know exactly what their function is. Really don't. But they make for a great sketch drawing platform for a 4-year-old who's actually standing next to me, behaving himself and coloring. So Sam is actually here with me right now. And for the first time ever in the history of him being in the room while I'm recording, he's being quiet. He's being quiet, and he's sitting here with a bag of colored pencils and some paper, and he's coloring on the side of my, well, not on the side, but on a little platform that's perfectly Sam height for him to color next to me while I'm recording. And he's actually being quiet, which is the most amazing thing. But that aside, so there's all these things I want to do, and I want to write more for the website. I want to write more in general just because I think it helps. And I need to get back to doing more for Patreon. And I want to take this opportunity right now, since I mentioned it, to say thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Heather from Sunshine and Power Cuts, Chris from Play Comics, Kate from Ignorance Was Bliss, and Lisa and Sam from I Shake My Head. You guys are awesome. And even when I've been on break and when I haven't put out any Patreon content in a couple of months between everything going for Napod Pomo and then me being on break, I haven't done any interviews that I've done cuts of and re-edited and sent out for Patreon exclusive stuff. I haven't done any of that. And they're still supporting me. And yeah, they're all my friends. But they're my friends who are willing to give me money to support this crazy ass thing that I do. And oddly enough, the money that they've given me for this is actually going to help me upgrade my computer, because I've realized that after over 250 episodes, it's starting to get really full, and it actually doesn't have the best RAM. And to get technical, I've got 8 gigs of RAM on this thing, and I can literally go buy another 16 gigs of RAM for this for like $50. And so I'm taking some of that Patreon money and upgrading my computer, because it really needs it for me to continue doing this and to keep bringing you this whatever the hell form of entertainment you want to call this. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing that, and my memory's filling up, and my computer's getting slow and things like that. So I'm going to try and do some stuff like that. But again, back to other, but I've looked into, because my brain, I've talked about the stuff that I do with merch design. And if you want to buy some merch, go to odddeadoutpodcast.com, and there is a link there for the merch shop. I will say there was a glitch or something that messed up one of the designs, and I've been slowly having to go through and re-add items for one of the styles. I'm blanking on which one it is right now because moving, but I know there's one of the I think it's the normal is not my specialty with the white print. I think that one, it doesn't have all of the styles of things available. And I would just got to go through and meticulously add in all of the things and all of the colors and all of the options and all of the things. But that's one more little project I've got to work on. But anyway, I've just got so much I want to do. And I want to do I want to do more Patreon exclusive episodes and bonus episodes and extended versions. And I think what I'm going to start really doing with my guests is actually really kind of edit them down. And I'm going to be recording less time sensitive stuff as far as guests. And I may just start stockpiling guest recordings and be using them and really, cut them down nicely and pretty and all that stuff, and then have special, again, really make the Patreon versions of those episodes worth it, because I want that to be something, worth your money if you are supporting the show. So I'm really going to do more of that. And again, trying to do like extra bonus Patreon content and write more for the website and do more. There's so much I want to do and stuff I want to do with like graphic design stuff and learning graphic design stuff, and expanding offerings for Odd Dad Out voice productions and add in like logos and design stuff and trying to figure out, I want to get better at doing more things. And so it's just kind of 2020 is my year of trying to do more things because, I'm stupid that way. Along with, because I'm stupid that way, starting another podcast. And it may never, ever come up to anything because it is something that would require work and planning and research. And yeah, that's not stuff I'm really good at. Okay, I'm actually good at it. It's stuff I don't want to do, but I'm stupid. And so I actually am considering starting. Hold on a second. I'm considering starting a true crime podcast. No, hold on. Do we need to get, I don't know if we need to get the smelling salts for anybody. This is not going to be, as Kate would put it, murder porn. This is actually going to be much more up my alley. For me to do a true crime podcast, it'd basically be a giant jackass of the week type shit. This would be me doing comedy news, weird ass news story bullshit stuff that really happened. Those what the fuck, seriously kind of stories. I want to do that because I feel like true crime shouldn't be all murder and blood and guts and stuff. You can have a joke. And so that's what I want to do. I want to have a fun true crime show. So I'm thinking about it. I don't know if anything's going to come of it, but it's something I want to do. So if anything does happen, I'll let you know. But I do have a couple guests that I'm lining up right now. Like I said, I'm thinking about just like, hey, if an opportunity presents itself, record a guest and take my time, really edit well, put a really nice guest episode together and release them when I have them. Not necessarily I want to make sure I have one every month, but I want to, not just necessarily say, oh, the last episode of the month is the guest of the month and I have a strict time limit and maybe I rush the edit because I have to make time. I want to, I want to have quality guest episodes for you. What can I say? I'm a dick that way. Damn it. Caring about quality and shit. But I'm getting tired. It's because I'm out of practice. But there's so much I want to do with the show and with podcasting in general and editing and again, the graphic design stuff and voiceover and audiobook narration. And there's so many things I want to do. And I feel like, this new house and our new home is just the stepping stone. It's the jumping off point for a lot of things. And it's just the next phase in our family and our lives. And I want to make the most of it. And I want to, it sounds dumb, but I have an office and I want to do work worthy of having an office. And so I want to work more because I'm stupid. I want to do more work editing. I want to do work for voiceover. I want to do audiobooks. I want to do graphic design. I want to do all the things for little to no other reason than I want to do more and I want to be something and make something and I want to do things. And so I'm going to try and do things in 2020 and try and do more things with the things I am doing. And maybe I will be able to get out there and have more than 20 people listening to me. But you know what? At this point, I know almost all of you by name. And I can say that because I can look at my play numbers and my download stats every week, and I can look and realize my audience is tiny. Really. But you know what? I know almost all of you by name. Really. And you guys are awesome. All of you that are listening and that support the show. And especially the newer people that have just recently come on from my appearances on other shows, which is crazy to me. But thank you, for one. Thank you for supporting the show, just for listening and for not bailing, because I don't understand why anybody listens, but the fact that people do listen is why I keep going. Because if after all this time you're still listening to my ass, I'm not going to take that away from you. Like, yeah, I could quit. I could have never come back after this move. Then I'd have felt like a huge jackass after setting up all this shit in my office. Like, I have an office and I can do this and I can make a studio and blah, 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 and then never do another podcast episode again. That would just be stupid. But I do this as much for you as I do it for me. I love doing this. I love podcasting. I love sitting here talking to you every week. And I really want to make sure it's every week. And I love doing this. And if you listen to me, then I'm doing this just as much for you. Because if you're enjoying listening to me, I don't want to take away your enjoyment of me, even if I think you're weird for enjoying listening to me. I'm not I'm not gonna yuck your yum, however that goes. But yeah, what can I say? Say I had little plan other than saying what I want to do is, but do I ever have a plan? No, almost never have a plan other than to say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for, if you're listening now after I just took a month off the show, really thank you for listening. Especially to like super fans out there I've actually been chatting with a few of you over my hiatus break. Donna, who oddly enough I chat with all the time. Donna, thank you. Allie is actually, I'm going to say this now, one of the, she's in the Oddballs Facebook group. Go there, sign up. Links in the show notes. You know the drill. But she actually joined the group and suggested a podcast to me to take the place of one that has ended. And I've been listening to it, and it is coming up on a future recommendation. And she is actually crazy enough. She has went back to episode 1 and has been binge listening through the whole show since episode 1. And she's actually almost caught up. So I really needed to get this out before she got caught up and then was like, well, what the hell? Where's the rest of the show? So Allie, thank you for your insanity in binge listening to the entire show. I think you need your head examined, but thank you. Anyway, you guys, again, I just never know. I never know what people are going to like. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to empty my brain and be me. And apparently you guys like me. Again, need your head examined. But that's going to do it for me for this week. Thank you again to everybody for everything. I know I've just spent like the last 5 minutes saying thank you, but you know what? There's never enough thank yous for all that you do. If you enjoy the show, share it with your friends, spread it out on the social medias. Again, I am at Odd Dad Out on all the places. Go to oddadoutpodcast.com for all the links, and maybe it's coming up. There's a slight chance I might be able to buy oddadout.com coming up in the next few days. I will let you know if that happens. Hell, I may just drop like a whole fucking extra episode just for it. Fuck, I don't know. Anyway, again, go to oddadoutpodcast.com. Links to subscribe on all of your favorite places, on Apple, on Google, on Stitcher, on Spreaker, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Radio Public. Is it Radio Public? I don't know. All of the places. Go there, subscribe to the show, share it with your friends, share it with your enemies, share it with that weird old lady on the bus who smells funny, but she's nice. So, you know, just share. Anyway, join the Facebook group so you can share more shit. Just do it. And until next week, oddballs, thank you and good night.